Namaste developers, welcome to Full Stack Adda. Let's learn something new today. Today's video is about records in Java. To understand this concept, we will take one use case. We have student data in the database. To return student data, we may write model class as below. Here we have a student model class with three variables: roll number, name, address. We create the constructor to create object for this student model class. We also write getter methods to get the data from this student object, and we override hashcode and equals method to avoid duplicates when we are storing these student objects into set collection objects. So if you have 20 number of different data, you may need to create 20 model classes, and for all those model classes you need to create the constructor, getter methods, setter methods, and you need to override hashcode and equals method. So you need to write all this boilerplate code for all those model classes. To avoid this boilerplate code, we have one more option. We can use Lombok library. Using Lombok library, we can rewrite the above student model class like this. You just need to annotate the class with data annotation, and this data annotation is going to provide you the constructor implementation, setters methods and getters methods, and it also provides you the equals and hashcode methods implementation. Instead of using third-party library Lombok, we can now use the record in Java. Record is a special purpose class which is used to store read-only data. We can create the record using record keyword, and the syntax to create the record, we first write the record keyword followed by the record name, and we declare the variables within parentheses, and the body is optional. To create the record in Eclipse, you need to right click on the project, click on new, and you see the new option record. You just need to click on that option. And the above student model class we can rewrite using record as below: access modifier public, record keyword, and this is record name, followed by within parentheses. Here we declare the variables with the data type, and we do not specify the access modifier here because all these variables are private and final by default. And Java compiler automatically creates the constructor, getter methods, toString, equals and hashcode methods for all these variables. And Java compiler will not generate setter methods because record is immutable. It means once we have created object for record, it is uneditable. You cannot modify its data. Normally, keywords are reserved. It means you cannot use as a variable name. But this record keyword, you can also use it as a variable name also. To create object for record, we use the new keyword. It's similarly like how we create object for a class. Here we have the student record with the three variables: roll number, name, and address. In the text class, here I have created array list of type student, followed by here I am creating object for record. So we create using new keyword. It is similar like how we create object for a class, and at the time of creating object only we pass the arguments to the constructor. So roll number 1, name Hari and Nellore, address Nellore, and one more object, roll number 2, Krishna and address Chennai. I'm storing these two record objects into array list, and in the next line I'm printing. To access data from these records objects, we need to call the getter methods. Here getter methods are not prefixed by get. Their names are similar like variable names. For roll number variable, the getter method name is roll number only. For name variable, the method name is name only. For address, the method name is address. Here we can see the output. So to test equals and hash code methods implementation, I have written one more example using hashset collection object. Here I have created hashset with the type student, and followed by I have created two different student objects, and for those two different student objects the data is same. Roll number 11, name Hari and Hari, address Nellore and Nellore. I am adding these two objects to the hashset object. In the next line, I am comparing student 1 equals to student 2. In the output, you can see true. And in the next line, I am trying to print the objects of the hashset. You can see only one object data got printed. So this is how we automatically gets the equals and hash code method implementation by the compiler. And we can also use generics with the records. And we can write the static variables within record body, but we cannot write instance variables because we are already writing the instance variables within the record definition. So we shouldn't write instance variables within the record body. And we can write both static and instance methods inside the record body, but we cannot write abstract methods. So here we have one more example with generics. So here I have written T after a student record name student. It is similar like how we write generics for a class. And this data type I am using for address. Within the record, here I have declared static variable age and one more static method age, and one instance method get student full data. It returns all these three variables data. In the text class, at the time of creating object for student record, we need to specify the data type. Here I have specified string. So I am passing third argument as a string. To call this instance method, we can call using the reference variable. It is similar like a class only. And to call the instance method, we use the record name. In the output, we can see one Hari Nellore record object data, and we are calling static method age. It returns the age 20. So next topic, how to write our own constructor in record. Normally compiler provided constructor is sufficient for most of the cases, but we may need to write our own constructor for to write validation conditions. For example, if you want to check whether the name is empty or null, in that situation you need to throw illegal argument exception. So to write those our user defined validation logics, we may need to write the constructor. We can implement constructor in two ways. One is canonical constructor, another one is non-canonical constructor. First we discuss about the canonical constructor. We can write the canonical constructor in two forms. First one is full form, second one is compact form. So in the full form, we first write the access modifier followed by the constructor name. Constructor name is exactly should match with the record name, followed by we specify the parameters. So these constructor parameters must match with the record variable. So the order and the variable's name and type should match exactly. In simple words, we need to write as it is in the record variable section. And here I have written validation logics. So roll number should less than or equal to 0, or name and address or either null or empty. We throw the legal argument exception with the message invalid student data. So if any of this condition is true, then we throw this illegal argument exception. Otherwise, we are initializing the all these field data to the corresponding record variables. And here I have created one student object. Here I am passing the roll number 0. So it is violating the validation rule. So we are getting the illegal argument exception in the console. So another form, we can rewrite the above constructor using compact form as below. You can see at line number 4, here we can omit the constructor parameters. So in this case, Java compiler automatically assumes the constructor parameters as they are in the record declaration. And we don't need to initialize the variables also. It automatically initializes the constructor parameters to the corresponding record variables. The last one, non-canonical constructor. So this constructor is purpose is if you want to add default values for some fields while creating record object. So in this constructor we must call the canonical constructor as a first statement inside this constructor. You can see at line number 13. So we are calling the canonical constructor using this keyword, and here for the address we are just adding the default address Nellore. And in the text class we have created two objects for student record, and here we are not passing the address. So for these two objects the address is same Nellore. In the output we can see we have got Nellore as address for both students data. So this is all about records in Java. I hope you have learned something new. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Bye bye. Jai Hind.